Hello, Summer of the Monkeys, Chapter 6, Part 2. I heard the back door slam, and Mama came running, wanting to know what in the world was going on. "Look, Mama!" Daisy shouted, pointing with her hand. "Just look what he's doing!" Gandy was making so much racket with his hissing and honking and flapping around, it took Mama a few seconds to figure things out. Then she yelled at me. "Jake Berry, what on earth are you doing? You turn that goose loose!" "I'm trying to turn him loose, Mama," I shouted. "Can't you see that?" Mama could see that Gandy was tangled up in the net. "Well, hold him still," she shouted. "He's going to kill himself." "I can't hold him still, Mama," I shouted. "He's gone crazy." Daisy was almost bawling. "You go crazy too," she shouted. "Is someone caught you in that silly old net?" "Oh, for heaven's sake," Mama said. "Something has to be done." Closing her eyes and turning her head sideways, she darted in and grabbed Gandy up in her arms, net and all. This scared Gandy more than ever. He figured that he was surely headed for the pot and was telling the whole wide world that he didn't like it at all. By that time I was so scared I couldn't even run. I just stood there holding onto the pole and waiting for what I knew was coming from Mama. Working together, Mama and Daisy unwound Gandy from the net and turned him loose. Gandy didn't even wait to get his breath. He ran faster than I had ever seen him run for about 10 feet, and then he took to the air. He sailed around the barn, up over the house and the red oak trees. Honking every foot of the way, he sailed on down over a field and disappeared in the river bottoms. For several seconds after Gandy had faded from sight, we stood in silence and stared at the spot where he had disappeared. With her black eyes shooting fire, Mama turned to me and said, "Jake Berry, I hope you're satisfied. We've just lost the best goose we ever had." Mama," I said in a quavering voice, "that old goose wasn't hurt. He'll be back. You couldn't make him stay away from these hen geese." "No, Gandy won't come back," Daisy wailed. "He won't ever come back, and I don't blame him one bit. Jay Berry, I don't know about you. I just don't know." "I know one thing," Mama said in a hard voice. "If you don't get rid of that net, young man, you're going to be in a worse fix than Gandy is. Now, you better believe that." I did believe Mama, too. I believed every word she said. Just then, Papa came in from the field, riding on one of the mules. "What's going on?" he asked. "I never heard so much racket." "It's Jay Berry, Papa," Daisy said. "He scared old Gandy clean out of the country." Papa looked at me and said, "I saw that goose, but I didn't think it was one of ours. I thought it was a wild one. He was really traveling. What happened anyway?" Nothing happened, Papa," I said. "Grandpa gave me this net to catch those monkeys. I wanted to see how it'd work, so I tried it out on Gandy." Papa looked at the net. As he got down from the mule's back, he laughed and said, "I don't think we have to worry about Gandy not coming back. He's scared now, but he'll get over that and come looking for those hen geese." "That's what I tried to tell Mama and Pop and Daisy, Papa," I said, "but you can't tell them anything. They think Gandy is clear over in Arkansas by now." Papa laughed. "I don't think Gandy has made it to Arkansas yet," he said, "but if he keeps going on like he was the last time I saw him, it won't take him long to get there." The way Papa was laughing and making a joke out of everything, I didn't think it would hurt if I laughed a little too. I never should have laughed right then, because it made Mama madder than ever. "Jake Berry," she snapped, "you won't think it's so funny if I make you go to your room and do without your supper." This scared all the laughter out of me. If there was one thing I dreaded, it was having to stay in my room. I would much rather have been hung by my heels to a white oak tree. "Mama," I said in desperation, "you can't make me go to my room now. I have to go down in the bottoms tonight and dig a hole." I thought Mama would really have a fit when I said that. "Dig a hole?" she said in a loud voice. "Jay Berry, you're not going down in those bottoms at night to dig any holes. Why, who ever heard of such a thing?" "But I have to, Mama," I pleaded. "That's the only way I'll ever catch those monkeys." Mama must have seen I was desperate. "I can't see where digging a hole could have anything to do with catching monkeys," she said. "But if you're so all fire set on it, you can go down there tomorrow and dig it. But you're not going tonight, and that's all there is to it." "It wouldn't do any good to dig the hole in the daytime, Mama," I said. "That big monkey would see me, and he's so smart, I wouldn't have a chance of catching any of them. I have to dig it at night, while those monkeys are asleep." Daisy squealed with laughter as she took off around the barn. "Jay Berry," she said, "if you dig that hole, those monkeys will push you in it and cover you up, sure as shooting." "Now, there she goes again, Mama," I said, "laughing and making fun of me. Why don't you make her stop?" If there was one thing that could help Mama get over one of her mad spells, it was to hear Daisy laugh. "Jay Berry," Mama said, "your little sister's not making fun of you. If she wants to laugh, you let her laugh, and don't you say anything about it." Before I could say anything, Papa stepped in and said to Mama, "Now hold on just a minute. I think you women are carrying things a little too far. I can't see anything wrong with a boy wanting to catch a few monkeys." Looking at me, Papa said, "What's this about digging a hole?" I explained the plan Grandpa had come up with to catch the monkeys. Taking the net from me, Papa looked at it and said, "What are these rings and strings for?" "That's what works the net, Papa," I said. "When you pull the yellow ring, it opens, and the blue ring closes it." Papa started pulling, first one ring and then the other. I saw a pleased look spread over his face. "Say, I think you got something this time." "Did you have any trouble catching Gandy in it?" "Heck no, Papa," I said. "I had Gandy caught before he knew what was happening. I believe it's the very thing for catching monkeys, don't you?" Still jerking at the rings and watching the net open and close, Papa said, "It looks to me as if you could catch a goose in it. You could surely catch a monkey. Tell you what, let's have some supper, and I'll go down in the bottoms with you and help dig that hole." Mama gasped as if she had swallowed too much air. Looking at Papa like she couldn't believe what she had heard, she snapped, "Maybe we'd better just quit farming and start catching monkeys." Papa laughed and said, "That may not be a bad idea. We could probably make more money catching monkeys than we can farming." Daisy had overheard Mama and Papa. She poked her head around the corner of the barn and said, "Jay Berry, if you and Mama and Papa catch those monkeys, I'll hold the sack for you." This seemed to fix everything. Mama and Papa started laughing at Daisy. I was feeling so good about Papa going with me to dig the hole, I laughed a little too. Right after supper, while Papa was putting some coal oil in the lantern, I went to the tool shed and got a pick and shovel. "It might be a good idea to take the axe along," Papa said. "We may run into some roots while we're digging the hole." "I hadn't thought of that, Papa," I said. "We'll run into some roots, all right. You can't dig an inch down in those bottoms without running into roots." "I know, because old Rowdy and I have tried to dig rabbits out of their holes down there." All excited, I ran and got the axe. As we were leaving the house, Mama and Daisy came out on the porch to see us on our way. Mama was still in a good humor. She laughed and said, "I hope no one sees my husband down in the river bottoms at night digging a hole. What would you tell the people?" "I'll just tell them that we're looking for a pot of gold," Papa said. "Then everyone in the country will be digging holes. How will that be?" Daisy squealed her delight and said, "Jay Berry, you'd better be careful. If you wake those monkeys up, they might get mad and run you clean out of the country." I wanted to say something back to Daisy, but I figured that as long as Mama was in a good humor, I'd better leave well enough alone. So I just walked on like I hadn't even heard what she'd said. Old Rowdy thought we were going possum hunting, and he was raring to go. He came over, reared up on me, and all but busted my eardrums with his deep voice. It was one of those warm, full moon nights when it's so bright it's more like twilight in the evening than night. Thousands of lightning bugs were dancing a flickering rhythm all around us. Overhead, I could hear the hissing whistles of feeding bats as they dipped and darted in the starlit sky. From deep in the river bottoms, an old hooty owl was asking his age-old question over and over. "Who, who are you? Who are you?" If Papa hadn't been with me, I'd have answered him by saying, "I am the Booger Man. I'm coming to get you." That usually shut old Hooty up. "Feeling big and important," I said. "Papa, sure is a pretty night, isn't it?" "Yes, it is," Papa said. "Nights like this are good for planting. The soil gets warm and mellow. Everything you plant will pop up out of the ground before you know it." Right then, I wasn't interested in any old green thing popping up out of the ground. I was interested in monkeys, ponies, 22s, and things like that. Papa said, "It's going to be a lot darker in the bottoms than it is out here in the fields. Do you think you can find that monkey tree?" "Oh, sure, Papa," I said. "I could find that monkey tree if I had a cotton sack over my head. You just follow me." It wasn't as easy finding the tree as I thought it would be. Several times I got on the wrong trail, but I finally found it. Setting the lantern down on the ground, Papa said, "Where do you think we should dig a hole?" "Oh, anywhere, Papa," I said, looking around. "One place is good as another, just so it's close to this bur oak tree." Picking out a small opening in the underbrush, Papa raised the dead leaves and sticks to one side with a shovel and started digging. Every time Papa ran into a root, he would rest while I hacked away with the axe. The rich black soil was soft and easy digging. In no time, we had a good-sized hole dug. Climbing out of the hole, Papa said, "How does that look? Do you think it's deep enough?" I looked the hole over and said, "There's one way to be sure, Papa. Rowdy and I'll get down in it and see how it fits." Papa chuckled and said, "Do you think you can get Rowdy down in the hole?" "Oh, I won't have any trouble doing that, Papa." I said, "Oh, Rowdy will do just about anything I ask him to. There's only one thing he won't do. He won't help me fight wasp nests. He won't have any part of that." Still chuckling, Papa said, "Well, you can't hardly blame him for that." I got down in the hole and called to Rowdy. "Come on, boy," I said. "You may as well get used to this hole because we might be sitting in it for a long time." During the past few days, I'd asked Roddy to do so many things he'd never done before that he didn't know straight up from straight down. Standing on the rim of the hole and peering down at me, he started whining and whimpering and fidgeting around. Then he just hauled off and jumped clean over the hole and looked at me from another angle. I could hear Papa chuckling in the darkness. "Oh, Rowdy," I said, "what's the matter with you? Surely you're not scared of this little old hole. Why, you've had your nose in every hole in these bottoms. Come on now." Whimpering, like he was getting ready to swim the ice-cold waters of the river, Rowdy got down on his belly, slid off into the hole, and sat down by my side. "I'm sorry, boy," I said, patting his head. "I know I've got you all mixed up, but in the morning I think you'll understand what this is all about." "Well, what do you think?" Papa asked. "It's just right, Pop," I said, "but there's one more thing we have to do." "What's that?" Papa asked. "Climbing out of the hole," I said. "Grandpa thinks it'd be a good idea to cover the top of the hole with brush so those monkeys can't see me from the treetops." "That won't be hard to do," Pop said, reaching for his pocket knife. Papa started cutting brush while I carried it over and arranged it over the top of the hole. Knowing how smart that $100 monkey was, I took the shovel and scattered the fresh dirt that had come up from the hole. After everything that had been taken care of, Papa held the lantern up so we could get a better look at our work. "I don't care how smart those monkeys are," Papa said. "They'll never spot that hole. Why, if I didn't know it was there, I'd probably fall on it myself." At that moment, no big game hunter in Africa could have felt more sure of himself than I did. "Papa," I said, "I really believe I'll catch some of those monkeys this time. I really do." "I do too," Papa said. "What time do you intend to be here in the morning?" "I'd like to be here before sunup, Papa," I said. "In that case," Papa said, "we'd better be getting home so you can get some sleep."